Meghan and Harry are finished with me and Catherine. The King has granted us full authority and we will act swiftly in Parliament. Their actions have stained the Crown, especially Meghan's link to Epstein. She will face consequences and answer for the lies she used to force her way into this family.
Buckingham Palace is silent on a clear November morning in 2025. One of those days when London's fog clings to the temperature like a secret too heavy to carry. The mist makes it difficult to see the palace's gilded gates. However, something far more electrifying than any state ceremonial crackles in the air inside. At exactly 7 pounds, a completely unexpected, unscheduled, and uncensored video appears on YouTube. From what appears to be his private study at Adelaide Cottage, Prince William, the future king, stares directly into the camera. Under the gentle light of a solitary desk lamp, his eyes were steely and his jaw was firm. The Princess of Wales, Catherine, sits calmly next to him, her hand resting softly on his arm, a silent rock before the storm arrives. Although the film is brief, less than 2 minutes, its words have a powerful impact. William starts, his voice firm but heavy with the weight of years unsaid. Meghan and Harry are done with me and Catherine. We will move quickly in Parliament since the monarch has given us complete authority. The crown has been tarnished by their deeds, particularly Meghan's connection to Epstein. She will be held accountable for the falsehoods she told to get into this family. The planet explodes as the screen fades to the royal crest. Social media is the first to ignite. In a matter of minutes, the hashtag Royal Ultimatum becomes a global sensation on X, previously Twitter, with over 5 million posts before midday. With this stance against Sussex, hashtags like Harry Meghan out and #Protect the Crown further polarize royal observers. Newsrooms are in a rush. Breakfast bulletins are interrupted by the BBC. CNN keeps playing the video. Beneath the chaos, however, a more profound frost descends upon the royal walls. This is more than a declaration. In the sand, a line has been drawn. His own blood was seen as a gauntlet hurled through the air. This video dispels the notion that the Sussex scandal has fallen into tabloid obscurity. It is reminiscent of the unadulterated divisions revealed in Harry's 2023 book Spare, in which he described violent altercations with William and charges of institutional racism. But in 2025, the stakes feel existential as King Charles fights chronic cancer treatments that have made him weaker than before. Insiders at the palace have whispered that the statement was approved by the Queen. His health was too fragile to handle more stress from the other side of the Atlantic. During hospital trips, 77-year-old Charles has provided infrequent updates on his health, acknowledging his worst times that reflect the emotional toll of family strife. MPs discuss possible legislative measures, such as security checks and title revocation, as the mist clears from Westminster. However, the true action takes place in the hearts of a long-divided country. Former members William and Catherine, together with Harry and Meghan, are now defenders of a monarchy that is on the verge of extinction. According to people close to the couple, their ultimatum is motivated by survival rather than resentment. The people's faith has been damaged by Harry's constant public revelations, from the 2021 Oprah interview to the 2022 Netflix series. According to surveys, support for the royal family has dropped to 58% among those under 35. And now there's a new pull from this Epstein shadow, which has long been a legend in dark parts of the internet. Why did William make this public outburst? In what ways has Charles's sickness made the suffering worse? And if the Sussexes ignore the summons, what will happen? One thing becomes evident as the day goes on. Once a representation of unwavering tradition, the House of Windsor is about to undergo its most dangerous change to date. Stay tuned because the truths that are emerging have the potential to permanently alter the throne. Few relationships have burned as brilliantly or collapsed as dramatically in the annals of royal history as the one between William and Harry. They were the princes who won the hearts of a heartbroken world following Diana's death in 1997. Despite being born only 22 months apart. Little figures dwarfed by fate, they walked hand in hand behind her coffin. Harry the Spare, William the Heir. Their early years at Kensington Palace were a patchwork of mutual protection and mischief, ranging from military camaraderie in Afghanistan to Eton adventures. However, fissures started to appear long before Meghan was in the picture. The burden of expectation that William carried alone is now revealed by insiders. Tensions were building by the mid-2010s when William wed Catherine in 2011 and Harry adjusted to life outside the army. Harry's 2014 Invictus Games victory demonstrated his charm, but royal courtiers saw William's subtle jealousy, not of the limelight, but of the independence Harry enjoyed without the full attention of the monarchy. Then came Harry and Meghan's historic 2018 wedding, which promised rejuvenation but instead caused conflict. According to accounts from that time period that have been repeated in more recent documentaries, William purportedly cautioned Harry over a crucial meal that Meghan's Hollywood fervor would overpower the family's slow pace. Protective of his bride, Harry became agitated, perceiving it not as brotherly caution but as meddling. The unraveling accelerated post-exit in 2020 to Harry's 2021 Oprah bombshells, which claimed racial prejudice in conversations regarding Archie's skin tone, were like lightning. As intimate letters from Diana emerged in Harry's story, turning childhood confidences into public weapons, William's retort, "We are very much not a racist family mask deeper hurt," insiders said. The January 2023 release of Spare fueled the flames. There have been reports of William calling Meghan challenging and impolite, as well as a physical altercation over her behavior that left Harry holding a necklace and a brother on the carpet. Speaking anonymously in retrospectives from 2025, Palace aides said that William withdrew into a shell, his trust destroyed by what he saw to be treachery for financial gain. Ever the diplomat, Catherine attempted to close the distance. Her hospital visits with Meghan at the Platinum Jubilee in 2022 gave her hope, but Harry's later Netflix depiction of royal dysfunction as a life of imprisonment deepened the divide. The brothers' final face-to-face meeting at the king's deathbed was allegedly chilly by 2024, when Charles's cancer diagnosis became public. Harry just stayed for 30 minutes before returning to Montego via plane. X-Threads now analyze these scars in the aftermath of the ultimatum video. William is no longer upset, according to a recent viral post from a royal analyst. He's finished. Harry's chosen course has taken him far from his hometown. The change is reflected in public polling. 62% of Britons support William because they believe Harry's actions jeopardize the stability of the monarchy. However, Harry's supporters see institutional rigidity and media pressure as structural factors that drove him leave. The ghosts of the Brotherhood haunt every choice William makes as he assumes a more prominent role as Counselor of State amid Charles's therapies. Has the spear turned into the sword, suspended in midair? Is it possible for reconciliation to heal the wounds caused by words? The echoes become louder, yet the castle holds its breath. Continue reading because the consequences of the health crisis that tipped the scales are just now starting to become apparent. The reign of King Charles III, who came to power in September 2022 amid widespread grief, was supposed to usher in a leaner, more environmentally friendly monarchy. Rather, it has developed beneath the surface of personal weakness, with his cancer diagnosis in February 2024 turning personal suffering into public scrutiny. The 77-year-old monarch provides few but moving updates by November 2025. He joked to other patients during a September hospital visit, "I'm still here fighting on," masking the bump in the road that landed him briefly under observation earlier in the year. His condition is described as handled by oncologists. However, insiders speak of restless nights made worse by California family strife rather than just therapies. After Diana's death, Charles's relationship with Harry, once a late-blooming father-son, has cooled in a silent grief. The king's delight in Harry's Invictus work is hinted at in royal biographies to his 2023 biography. However, Spare's depictions of him as aloof and intrusive hurt a great deal. According to reports, Camilla was a dangerous villain in private circles, and Harry's two-word ban rang through royal hallways, Resurrecting Scars from the Divorce A.B.Y 2025. As Charles assigns William greater responsibilities, the stress shows up physically in the form of canceled engagements, a gaunt look at state functions, and an infrequent April meditation on his worst experiences when family tensions remained unresolved. Meghan's part makes the suffering worse. Charles saw her as a force for modernization as he escorted her down the aisle in 2018. However, her post-Brexit criticisms of everything from Archewell's unequal charity to her podcast soliloquies on unconscious bias have generated tabloid tempests that Charles absorbs like a sponge. According to a 2025 survey, 55% of Commonwealth residents doubt the monarchy's worth, in part because of Sussex sleeper cell techniques that insiders denounce as undermining from a distance. Please deny Harry's security in court to add irony. His father's tranquility is now under jeopardy due to the son who ran away for protection. William has taken on the load since he is sensitive to his father's weaknesses. According to sources, Charles begs for unity during late-night conversations while his voice is tired from chemotherapy. But another interview in Sussex ends abruptly. The ultimatum video, which was leaked by Charles per Palace, signifies a parental transfer of power to the successor in order to protect the kingdom. One aide confesses that the king's health cannot tolerate any more treachery. The public's sympathy for Charles grows as former supporters mobilize to pray for the monarch and share memes of his scandal-overshadowed environmental ideals. However, Harry's team responds with appeals for family rather than institution, a catchphrase from his interviews in 2025 that seems hollow in light of the king's seclusion. According to medical briefings, the sovereign shadow becomes longer as therapies continue beyond 2026. Will Windsor's get stronger as a result of this catastrophe, or will it become irreparably broken? The echoes in the video suggest action to come. Let's examine the damning words and the inferno they caused first, though. William's video wasn't just hyperbole when it debuted on the radio that dreary November morning. According to Kensington insiders, it was a rehearsed volley created with Charles's approval and Catherine's assistance. Shot in a single take, William's delivery combined raw edge with royal grace. He stops purposefully, his gaze fixed on the camera, as though speaking directly to Harry. When Catherine and I were done, he announced, a quiet severing of fraternal ties, forged in shared grief, is the expression. The use of complete authority alludes to Charles's increased delegation under the Regency Act, which gives William the ability to lead legislative proposals pertaining to royal rights. Despite being subtle, the Epstein reference explodes like an overlooked explosion. Despite having no supporting evidence, rumors about Meghan's peripheral connections have persisted in fringe forums since 2021, when an Epstein accuser requested her deposition in the Prince Andrew lawsuit. Without going into specifics, William's line, particularly Meghan's connection to SAS and Epstein, frames it as a stain on the crown's integrity by hinting to unverified social similarities in elite circles. Reputational dangers were highlighted in palace briefings to MPs that week, which fueled rumors of title-stripping legislation similar to Andrew's downfall in 2022. In Montito, reactions spread around the world. Harry doesn't say anything. A representative declines to comment, but X explodes, with supporters of Sussex calling it bullying. Traffic causes Meghan's Archewell website to fail, and empathetic donations rise by 20%. The Sun Run's Crown Strikes Back is amplified by William's supporters across the pond, while The Guardian criticizes the dictatorial tone. The inclusion of Catherine in the picture emphasizes harmony. Her subdued acknowledgement of the repercussions conveys a shared commitment sharpened by the resilience lessons she learned from her own cancer journey. Insiders observe that her drafting influence tempered William's rage with demands for fairness. Parliament is a hive of activity. The Tory backbench private members' bill on Sussex security gains momentum, mirroring the court's denial of Harry's pleas in 2024. The charge of lying goes the furthest, reviewing Netflix's stage story of obtaining freedom and spares disputed statements. William believes that Harry's 2025 podcast, Admissions of Embellishments for Impact, only fuel the fire, deliberately undermines the royal mystique. Ex-analysts watch the film frame by frame, pointing out William's ring twist and a hint of repressed anger. The ultimatum reframes the Sussex family as enemies rather than exiles when shares reach 10 million. But in order to fully understand its impact, we need to follow Harry's path of revelations that created this barrier. What deeds actually tarnish the crown? You will be astounded by the solutions found in 10 years of disobedience. His supporters claim that Prince Harry's journey from military son to tell-all book was paved with noble intentions, but palace voices dispute that it was also littered with royal rubble. The Duke of Sussex complained about the company's operations after the 2018 wedding, pointing to media intrusions that mirrored Diana's. His admission of suicide thoughts during Meghan's pregnancy in his 2019 ITV documentary with Oprah Winfrey foreshadowed the storm. This weakness humanized him, but frightened courtiers as oversharing. William was taken aback by the 2020 Megxit announcement, which was presented as a quest for financial independence. He found out via text. A barrage ensued. Williams received a rare public censure for the racism allegations in the Oprah show. Interviews hint about the 2021 memoir. Additionally, Netflix's 2022 Harry and Meghan series, a 6-part indictment that combined personal footage with institutional critiques, was criticized for factual errors despite receiving 28 million views in its first week. With 3.2 million copies sold in its first week of sale in January 2023, Spare solidified the division. At Charles's wedding, it described frostbitten toes. William said that Meghan was the target of a tiger wife insult, and a Nazi costume regret from 2005 that was brought up again for shock. Instead of emphasizing loneliness, Harry's frost heave story heightened feelings of petulance. By 2025, Sussex's favorability has plummeted, and there are rumors of a sequel. In UK surveys, Harry's at 35%. Meghan is even lower. Their twin-tiding 20 media project, Archewell, promised empowerment but produced delays. Due to disputes, a children's book delayed Netflix deals. The irony of exiles was highlighted by Harry's 2024 Security Court defeat, which denied UK government money. Threads mimic labels for grifters. However, 2025 podcasts that combine treatment with subtle barbs at cruel siblings, such as the Me You Can't See sequel, attract 15 million listeners. Initially a peaceful supper, these discoveries eventually came together to form a victimization narrative that William denounces as a stain. The public is growing weary. According to a YouGov survey post video, 68% of respondents think Harry's revelations hurt the monarchy's efforts to promote mental health. Ironically, his legacy as an Invictus. However, Harry's supporters saw truth-telling as a form of catharsis, pointing to Diana's 1995 panorama as an example. Accountability is required by the ultimatum, but at what cost to free speech? The murmurs that sparked William's rage come to light as we go on to Meghan's tale. You wouldn't believe how knotted and dark it is. The American actress Meghan Markle, a former suit star who became a duchess and a champion for women of color in a pale palace, entered the field of royal law as a breath of fresh air after captivating a prince. Her 2017 engagement interview was full of hope. But by 2025, the ultimatum's deceptive remarks about her rise caused her reputation to crumble under investigation. Meghan was born in 1981 to a mother who worked as a social worker and a father who was a lighting director. Her pre-royal existence was a mix of hustle and affluence. Northwestern theater degree, little red schoolhouse schooling, and time spent in the Argentine embassy. At a Soho House event in 2016, she met Harry through mutual acquaintances, and their romance blossomed while they were filming in Toronto. The 2018 wedding represented modernism with its stylish Gavini gown and American pastor. However, there were early indications of conflict. Williams stated that disagreements about personnel and prenuptial agreements reflected her worries about her independence. Meghan's enthusiasm for charitable causes, from SmartWorks to Mayhew Animal Shelter, originally pleased But in 2019, Palace leaks claimed that the Duchess had a challenging personality, which led to challenging headlines. Her story changed to one of empowerment after Megxit. The Oprah disclosure of solitude in 2021. The 2022 Spotify podcast archetypes were praised for their profundity, but chastised for their tardiness. 100,000 people signed up for her 2024 lifestyle business American Riviera Orchard, which debuted with jam jars to celebrity pals, despite SEC inquiry due to pump and dump vibes. Meghan is the issue, as seen by the video's 2 million mentions, which combine praise for her composure with criticism of her opportunism. Despite being unfounded according to fact checks, the Epstein specter continues to exist as a poisonous undercurrent. Originating from a 2021 court document in which Epstein associate Johanna Sjoberg listed Meghan in a request for a deposition in the Andrew case. Despite her lack of engagement, it escalated into internet speculations. William's video revitalizes it as a connection, suggesting, without proof, social closeness in Hollywood circles in the 2000s. It is denounced by defenders as racist dog whistling. Critics, such as the writers of the 2025 bio, link it to more general myths about privileged access. 500,000 people like Meghan's remark, which is a calm Archwell's declaration about healing above damage. However, surveys reveal that 52% of Britons believe she was the architect of the split. Raising Archie and Leet in Montito's bubble as a mother contrasts the force she exerts, but it also feeds arguments about her entitlement versus aspiration. One thing is constant despite the accusations. For better or worse, Meghan's arrival changed the household. But how did the stable core, William and Catherine, get through this storm? Awaiting you is their unvarnished and illuminating version of events. At 43, Prince William represents the turning point of the monarchy. Environmental activist, father of 3, and hesitant enforcer today. Protectionism is the source of the ultimatum video, which is his most unplanned moment since Catherine's cancer news in 2024. Growing up in Diana's shadow, he made a commitment to protect his offspring from the cycles that damaged him. Harry's departure reinforced his determination. According to sources, Windsor's post-spare sleepless evenings were filled with passages that ridiculed his alpha instincts and wounded Kate's postpartum brain like broken family heirlooms. His wrath is tempered by Catherine, 43, who is dazzling in her recuperation. Although her Earthshot Award work with William demonstrates synergy, she secretly laments the breakup of the Fab Four after becoming close to Meghan in 2018 due to their shared new parenthood. Recast as a hormonal slight, the bridesmaid dress Rowan Spare was severely damaged. However, her battle with cancer in 2025 encouraged forgiveness. Time heals, but trust rebuilds slowly, according to Confidence. The pair is grounded by their cottage life in Adelaide with George, Charlotte, and Louis. A forward-thinking monarchy is reflected in William's 2025 Dush projects, which range from homelessness programs to mental health centers, but Sussex attacks jeopardize it. Team Wales surged 300% after the film, demonstrating exposed silent power. Insiders disclose William's intentions to purge, expedite Frogmore evictions, and conduct title reviews in order to maintain Charles's weakness. The moderation of the ultimatum demonstrates Catherine's influence. Just institutional protection, no personal assaults. Her early childhood education talks from 2025 highlight the pleasures of services while quietly challenging Sussex stuck stereotypes. According to polls, 71% of people believe they will be the family's future, compared to 22% for Harry. But uncertainty persists. Williams claimed that the disclosures of Harry's 2025 return plan, which suggested part-time jobs, highlighted irreversible divisions. He is more wounded than his dad. According to a source, George is protected from unnecessary echoes by Catherine's composure, a bold task for their brood. In this stance, they redefine responsibility as vigilance rather than retaliation. What impact will this have on the crown's precarious destiny, though, while the world watches and Parliament trembles? Next comes the finale, which might usher in a new age. The aftermath of the ultimatum changes the landscape of Windsor as 2025 approaches. The video I Sussex exclusions sparked Parliament's December debates on royal security, with Labour MPs advocating for parity audits on titles. Sentiment leans harsh, but Harry's possible response, a memoir sequel or legal counter, looms. Title revocation is favored by 65%. Regency murmurs are prompted by Charles's steady but shadowy health. William's quick move may involve eliminating non-working royals from the monarchy in 2026. Despite criticism, Meghan's brand flourishes. Her resilience-related Netflix follow-up was approved. However, Epstein rumors continue to fester and call for legal clarity. Public conversation changes with time. According to YouGov, 41% of younger Brits support abolition and blame Sussex drama for being irrelevant. However, support for Harry's family's initial appeal is still widespread, with U.S. surveys showing 48% support. The ratings for William and Catherine dropped to 75%. Their tour in 2026 is considered a reset. The legacy was a scarred, slimmer, and possibly wiser monarchy. The throne survives, protected by an heir who chose conflict over collapse, even though Harry's path may veer toward complete Americanism and Meghan's into Mogulum. In his twilight, Charles observes from Balmoral, wishing for tranquility. What are your thoughts? Does the ultimatum speed up or heal the situation? Please share below. In this regal choir, your voice counts. If this struck a chord with you, please subscribe, like, and share for more honest facts.